Welcome back to Cinema Magic. Today we'll show you a 2017 South Korean fantasy action film titled Along with the Gods, The Two Worlds. It is the third highest grossing film in South Korea's cinema history based on the webtoon series called Along with the Gods. The film tells the story of a firefighter who heroically died in the line of duty and is taken to the afterlife where he must undergo 7 separate trials to evaluate his life on Earth. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The film begins with a title card saying, "When a person reaches the afterlife, one is judged 7 times over 49 days. Tried by deceit, indolence, injustice, betrayal, violence, murder, and filial piety. Only the souls who pass all the trials are reincarnated." The first scene shows firefighter Kim Ja-hong emerging from a burning building, carefully carrying a young child in his arms. The girl runs towards her parents. Ja-hong hobbles after her, but no one seems to notice him. A female voice calls out his name, and he turns around to see Lee Deok-chun, who introduces herself as Hyewon-mak. She tells him that there are the 3 guardians of the afterlife who will defend him through 7 trials over 49 days. Ja-hong died in the fire while saving lives. He watches his colleagues weep over his limp body. Ja-hong refuses to follow them into the afterlife because he's worried for his mother, but he gets sucked into the portal nonetheless. At the entrance into the afterlife world, Grim Reaper Gangrim greets Ja-hong. Deok-chun remarks excitedly, "Incredible, he's the one." "Mr. Kim, you're really an honorable paragon. It's been 19 years. Your chance for reincarnation after 49 days is very high. We came to know that there are 7 levels of hell. The first one Ja-hong encounters is for causing the death of others. Ja-hong then appears before the court of God of Murder. This trial is about leaving a doomed colleague behind. The God of Murder tells him that despite having enough time, Kim's desire for his own safety and his indecisiveness ultimately caused his colleague's death. If he had acted in time, the victim could have survived. Therefore, this could be seen as an indirect murder. Ja-hong's defender argues with the God of Murder and tells him that he saved 8 lives from the vicious inferno. Eventually, his indirect murder charge is thus rejected. The next scene shifts to the second level of hell, River of Indolence. One of Ja-hong's guardians tells him the next trial determines how well you lived your life. Here, Ja-hong gets a pass after the defenders argue for him, saving him from the waterfall. Later, in the Sword Forest, they encounter numerous vengeful spirits. This indicates that someone in Ja-hong's family has passed away with a grudge. Ja-hong became anxious about his mother. That's when Gangrim enters the mortal world to find out. While at the Sword Forest, the trio was visited by King Yomra. The king asks them, "Why does your honorable guest bring forth hell ghouls and disturb my realm?" Hyewon-mak tells him that Gangrim has gone down to investigate. The king then asks how will he calm the spirit. Hyewon-mak replies the body will be burned and its soul eliminated, but without disturbing the order of the living world. Later, Ja-hong appears at the 3rd level of hell, Lies. Ja-hong had written letters to the daughter of the colleagues he failed to save. He also written letters to his mother to assure her that he was alright even when he wasn't. These lies make a convincing case against him, but Deok soon defends that these were white lies, and Ja-hong passes. Later, Gangrim arrives and informs Ja-hong that his mother is alive and well, and his brother is healthy and doing well in the military. Gangrim then secretly tells his teammates that Ja-hong's brother is dead and became a vengeful spirit. "I'm looking into where and how he died, and I'll incinerate his body. So long as the spirit is out there, Ja-hong's child will be in danger." In the human world, Gangrim is trying to figure out how Ja-hong's brother Kim Soo-hong died. Turns out another soldier, Won Dong-gyun, who seemed mentally challenged, had accidentally shot him. The next scene shifts to the 4th level, Cold-heartedness. Hyewon-mak informs Ja-hong that the next round is the Hell of Injustice, a trial for those who are unjust. People who did not help others are frozen in ice. Ja-hong passes this easily. The scene shifts back to the human world and we see the superior, Lieutenant Park, had covered up Kim Soo-hong's death for Dong-gyun. That's when Gangrim has flashbacks to the past when he himself was a warrior and how his father died. And Kim Soo-hong was simply reported as being missing in action from the army. However, Gangrim managed to find where Kim Soo-hong's body was buried. The next scene shows Deok-soon telling Ja-hong they don't have any memories of their past. "We don't know how he died. Not a single memory." That's when she envies the most while doing this work. Hyewon-mak accidentally reveals to Ja-hong that his brother's dead. He's the vengeful spirit. That's when the cable car that they're riding starts shaking, and the 3 of them are almost tossed out. In the mortal world, Gangrim is digging up the grave of Ja-hong's brother. Hyewon-mak arrives and confronts him for messing up with the mortal world. They're supposed to destroy the bodies, not dig them up. Both of them engage in a fight and 𝐥𝐤𝐤 manages to gain the upper hand. In the army, Lieutenant Park tries to convince Dong-yeon to take a break. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 follows Dong-yeon to a club and observes that a disco ball is played with by the vengeful spirit of the brother. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 immediately chases the spirit and manages to trap him in a tower. Now a vengeful spirit, Soo-hong, reveals that he was essentially buried alive. He was barely alive after the gunshot, but they did not save him. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 tells him that 𝐥𝐤 is having a hard time in the afterlife. He replies that 𝐥𝐤 had left home 15 years ago and doesn't care about them. Meanwhile, 𝐥𝐤𝐤 tells 𝐥𝐤 this is the heavenly passage. They'll reach the hell of betrayal through here. Souls who betrayed faith are locked away in a mirror and get destroyed. The goddess of betrayal is beautiful, and just like her beauty, she'll only forgive beautiful betrayal. 𝐥𝐤 passes that stage too. Long story short, 𝐥𝐤𝐤 is back with a gang. 𝐥𝐤 pleads for them not to destroy his brother. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 tells him they can only bring people across the afterlife or destroy them. The next scene shows Dong-yeon visiting 𝐥𝐤's mother and passing her a map before running off. Later, Dong-yeon sings the song while committing suicide. Soo-hong appears and asks 𝐥𝐤𝐤 to help that stupid idiot. He replies a guardian cannot interfere with the living world. Soo-hong then says, just save that pathetic bastard. Please, I'll do what you ask. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 cuts the noose and saves his life. The scene shifts to the 6th level of hell, violence. Down the hole, the rocks vibrate widely and the three of them are tossed around. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 sighs, saying that this can only mean that 𝐥𝐤𝐤 is interfering with human affairs again. Soo-hong bows respectfully to 𝐥𝐤𝐤 and pleads with 𝐥𝐤𝐤 to deliver some words to Dong-yeon. He sings to Dong-yeon and the brother tells Dong-yeon that he didn't do anything wrong and not to waste his tears over what has happened. At the same time, all hell breaks loose in the afterworld. Deok-soon says there was a victim of 𝐥𝐤's violence. 𝐥𝐤 watches the scene of him beating his brother up when they were kids, as his mother slept soundly. Soo-hong watches as Lieutenant Park arrives to fetch Deok-soon and 𝐥𝐤𝐤 brings him to collect his body. The prosecutors say that there was no indication of forgiveness, and the god orders punishment for 𝐥𝐤. Deok-soon runs forward to ask for the case to be heard together with the next hell. This means that if 𝐥𝐤 isn't ruled innocent in the next court, those responsible for him will never have the chance to be reincarnated as well. Soo-hong walks alongside 𝐥𝐤𝐤 and says that on the day that he was beaten, he had awoken to see 𝐥𝐤 sitting blankly next to their mother, clutching a pillow above her head. The defenders confront 𝐥𝐤 that he wanted to kill his mother, but 𝐥𝐤 corrects them, saying that he wanted to kill his whole family. He had prepared sleeping pills. That night, he ran away from home because of his guilt and to protect his family from himself. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 and Soo-hong arrive back at the military base only to witness his mother charging into the square. She wears a sandwich board asking for redress for her son, and Lieutenant Park almost throws him out before she pushes the map into his hands. They can only watch as his mother is being pushed to the floor. And 𝐥𝐤𝐤 advises Soo-hong to let his mother live her mortal life. In the afterworld, 𝐿 cuts down Sand spirits one after another. Soo-hong gradually transforms into a vengeful spirit again. He breaks the chains that 𝐥𝐤𝐤 had put around him. He tosses 𝐥𝐤𝐤 aside, and the desert afterlife swarms violently around them. Soo-hong transforms into a raging tornado, and Lieutenant Park runs to drive the ambulance to safety. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 tries to bring each man to safety and calls for 𝐿. Suddenly, 𝐥𝐤 pushes Deok-soon aside, and she stares at him in shock. 𝐥𝐤 is slowly sinking to quicksand, and he desperately pushes Deok-soon aside. Her screams are heard by Soo-hong through the portal that 𝐿 came by. This gives Soo-hong pause, and the moment of distraction allows 𝐥𝐤𝐤 to take him down. In the afterlife, a sandstorm brews around them, revealing the final hell. The god of death awaits them and pronounces 𝐥𝐤 guilty. Deok-soon argues passionately for him, and the god reveals that on that night the mother was not unaware. She knew that 𝐥𝐤 had wanted to kill her, but remained stationary. The god of death exclaims that his mother had lived her life in guilt and remorse, and 𝐥𝐤 cries that he's guilty. This is also witnessed by Soo-hong. The sentence is read out to 𝐥𝐤, but as this happens, a great disturbance occurs. A voice calls out "Mother" and shocks everyone. The scene reveals that 𝐥𝐤𝐤 has allowed Soo-hong to visit his mother in her dreams. Soo-hong is dressed in red robes and says that he had successfully become a prosecutor. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 and 𝐿 stay dutifully outside, and Soo-hong laughs that they are his subordinates. They witness Soo-hong sobbing as he asks his mother for forgiveness for his brother. He tells her how his brother has spent the rest of his life working hard to feed them. In the dream, this is the first time they have heard her voice. Both brothers are surprised, and their mother says that she has never blamed them and everything was her fault. She apologizes and embraces Soo-hong tightly, calling out 𝐥𝐤 Soo-hong gently. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 runs forward and grabs at the sand portraying his mother's face, and the god of death proclaims that 𝐥𝐤𝐤 is not guilty. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 has gained his chance at reincarnation. As light surrounds 𝐥𝐤𝐤, he bows deeply to 𝐥𝐤𝐤 and thanks her for her help. Even the prosecutors shed tears as they watch 𝐥𝐤𝐤 leave the levels of hell. Back in the mortal world, 𝐦𝐤𝐤 cries as he sends off the ambulance. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 smiles and says that 𝐦𝐤𝐤 is a noble person as well. 𝐴𝐴𝐤 says that if not for 𝐥𝐤𝐤's pleading, he wouldn't have come to the mortal world. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 realizes that the previous fight with 𝐴𝐴𝐤 was the god of death himself. A parcel arrives for the mother in the hospital, delivered by 𝐥𝐤𝐤. This contains the rice cooker and the final letter that 𝐥𝐤𝐤 wanted to gift his mother. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 arrives at the gates of hell accompanied by 𝐴𝐴𝐤, 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐤, and 𝐸𝐴. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 tells 𝐴𝐴𝐤 to follow him in fighting the army before them so that 𝐸𝐴 can become their 49th person. That is all about this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay up to date with such interesting movie recap videos.